An all-new Eye on the Bay starts now in HD.
12 swimmers, 6 days to train, a lethal stretch of water. Will they make it? Find out next.
We're your Gotta Get Away for the Day guide, your Let's Try a New Place to Eat guide, even your Hey, it really happened here guide. We're the tour guide with you in mind. Eye on the Bay.
Welcome to Eye on the Bay and a site familiar to tourists the world over, The Rock, Alcatraz, a place that is swimming in water so cold and surrounded by sharks with teeth so sharp that any prisoners who even thought about trying to escape were assured they would never make it. And yet there is a group of Native Americans that are going to try to make that 1.5 mile swim from Alcatraz to the city shoreline. More about them in a moment, but first, in the course of this program, we're going to be telling you things about Alcatraz, and we're going to be showing you things on the island that you have never seen before. A fascinating program on tap, but first, those Native Americans who are going to make this swim, who are they? Why are they doing this?
I've never been in the bay before in my life, you know.
That was my first time swimming in the ocean at all.
I have always been afraid of the ocean, all of the creatures inside of the ocean, and drowning.
These 12 dedicated individuals have flown to San Francisco from around the country to participate in a unique swim organized by a group called Pathstar.
Pathstar's mission is to encourage healthy lifestyles and healthy nutrition in the Native American communities.
And an important part of that mission is raising awareness about diabetes, a cause that's close to home for the swimmers.
My brother suffers from diabetes.
It runs through my family. My mother and my grandmother have it.
My grandmother was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at a fairly young age. Just because your family members have had it doesn't mean you have to have it. And that's the word we're trying to spread. It's preventable.
And that word is what motivates Ruth and Anita, a mother-daughter team from Alaska.
I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic, and I had to pretty much do something about it.
Then they found out that I was also type 2 diabetic, so that was the whole thing was mother-daughter do the Alcatraz swim to help with diabetes prevention.
Participants will only have 6 short days to train for the challenging swim from Alcatraz, an accomplishment that holds much appeal.
The Alcatraz swim has become kind of a worldwide known swim. Because of the 6970 Alcatraz occupation by the Indians, it has an incredible political and spiritual significance for Native Americans.
That significance was evident when the swimmers attended the Indigenous Peoples Sunrise Gathering on Alcatraz.
The dancing and the celebration and the fire that they had there, and then watching the sunrise, it was just phenomenal.
It was awesome seeing all the cultures there. It made me want to learn more of my culture.
The Pathstar swimmers were honored in the ceremonial circle.
It's a privilege, it's an honor to be blessed by an elder, and especially when you're on a journey, when you're trying to overcome something so scary and can be traumatic, getting into the ocean.
So it really pulled it together beautifully, what our mission and purpose is for the week, what people are preparing for, and to start with a blessing among people in their own indigenous community.
Back on the sandy shores, swimmers step into the frigid waters for the first time.
I walked out the door to the beach, put my big toe in the water, and was like, nope, I ain't got to do this. I can come back next year.
It's like, woo-hoo! It was cold. I've never seen my goosebumps that big before in my life.
Yeah, well, I think I really had some second thoughts.
I think I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
I got back in. I mean, I had to. This is why I came in.
I manned up and just jumped in the water and went for it.
With the support of volunteers at the South End Rowing Club, swimmers are paired with experienced coaches.
We call them swim angels. All of our swim angels have helped immensely. We wouldn't have been able to do it without their support.
Guidance also came from swimmers that had completed the challenge in previous years. For Terry, This swim marks his 6th.
It's being a role model to other swim players that are here and giving that recognition that you've done this and you combat some of the fears that they have.
I really enjoy being that kind of support for the swimmers.
But training is only one part of the program's mission. Learning about healthy lifestyle practices is another.
And it's not just the swimming. It's the decision to stay with a whole food, healthy, nutritious plan, to actually be preparing meals, to eat meals together, to get up in the morning, to go to bed at night. All this stuff is so important and it's so difficult.
You know, of course, everybody knows you should eat healthy, but, you know, coming here and actually doing it was quite an experience.
I haven't ate so many salads in my life.
And I can see during the week that everybody over and over is thinking about quitting. I think if I could be killed by looks, I would be so dead by the end of the week. And then it starts to turn around, it starts to make sense.
On day 5, the sun is shining and training is going really well.
I didn't even think about nothing. I just ran in, jumped in, and swam.
On Friday, I felt I improved a lot. And now I can just jump right in without having to ease in little by little. I can just go for it.
Coming up next, the Path Star swimmers head across the bay to explore a rarely seen side of Alcatraz.
And later, it's swim day. Stay tuned to see how the swimmers do.
Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney in front of the major symbol in the San Francisco Bay Area to be on your best behavior. That's Alcatraz. And there's something that happens here once a year that is done by the American Indian Path Star swimmers.
The day begins as the Path Star swimmers head across the bay toward the Rock. On the island, veteran ranger John Cantwell is ready to guide them on a one-of-a-kind tour.
My name's John Cantwell. I'm going to take you guys on a little exploration of this national park site.
The group weaves its way through rarely seen tunnels and buildings.
And we're going to go into the factory where the convicts work. You know, the old saying is so close and yet so far away. When you look out that window, you can see normal life going on. The men that I've interviewed that work down here, they kept their head down when they worked, and when they went out this door, they kept their head down and did not look across the bay. Here where they were chopping big rocks.
At every step of the way, the group gains a deeper appreciation of Alcatraz's diverse layers of history.
We didn't know that it was built to protect the San Francisco gold rush. You know, that part of history I never did know.
It brought light to the Native American aspect of it. All of the tribes that came together, the gathering of the nations on Alcatraz.
A walk along the outer edge of the islands reveals faded graffiti, an artifact from the 1969 Indian occupation.
Yatahe Navajo saying Yate is an Indian greeting for welcome.
When the group returns to the site of the Native American sunrise celebration, one of the swimmers, Jerry, is inspired and shares a personal song.
And to actually sing that song for him was a touching moment for me because it came from his heart, from his people to my people.
It's really my dad's song. When my dad passed away 8 years ago or so.
It gave me goosebumps, brought tears to my eyes.
Very nice. Well, you know,
I have never ever done that in public.
So let's go up to the prison. You can see just off in the distance the lighthouse there. I'd love to get you guys up there because hopefully the fog will burn off when we get up there so that we can get a 360 of the whole Bay Area. So let's go up to the prison. All right. Right this way. So if you look underneath the eagle and the stars and stripes, can you see in the stripes there, what's it say?
3.
Yeah. So that's Indian occupation graffiti. They painted that into that stripe there.
Once inside the cell house, Cantwell offers more enlightening details.
I love those skylights in this place. You know, the whole idea was set up so that people would reflect like they're in a monk situation, to reflect on what you did to end up in a penitentiary. Penitence for your crimes. So guys, we're on Broadway. This is the main corridor through the cell house. There are 600 jail cells inside the building.
But the final stop of the day takes the swimmers' experience to new heights, literally.
It's 84 feet up, so again, be careful. The railing on the outside is a little rusty, so don't lean on that railing, okay?
To go into the lighthouse was probably the highlight of my visit.
They can actually look from up there. Sometimes you can see exactly what the swim line is going to be, which is an amazing way to start setting a goal too.
So I got to touch the tippy top of it, and I loved that. That was probably the best experience so far.
Actually, I had my phone up there and I took a picture right by the light, and then seeing the Bay Bridge topping the fog was amazing.
It was amazing. It was so amazing.
Man, you can see why I wanted to come up here. The views are spectacular, but I have to emphasize, the lighthouse is off limits to the public. It was just in this case the National Park Service wanted to cooperate as much as they could with the Native Americans because they have so much history and so much heritage here. And in a minute, we step off the rock, into a boat, and into that, the icy waters of San Francisco Bay, the big swim, when Eye on the Bay continues.
I'm ready. I'm gonna push myself and go for it, even if the water's really rough and going in my face and stuff.
Welcome back to Eye on the Bay. We've been following a dedicated group of Native Americans as they prepare to swim from Alcatraz to San Francisco to help raise awareness about diabetes. Some of them have never even set foot in the ocean before this event.
I'm ready. I can't wait to go. I'm just so excited, like a kid in a candy shop, kid before Christmas, or I'm just ready to go, and I want to be able to just do it and do it.
Swimmers, coaches, and volunteers all gather to review the final details of the swim. The room is filled with anticipation, contemplation, and emotion. Jerry once again offers encouragement through his father's song. Once aboard, everybody has a few last moments to reflect on the challenge ahead of them. The boat reaches its mark. It's finally time.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be cold again. It's gonna be knives hitting my body.
I was unsure of myself, but also at the same time I was excited.
I'm really doing this.
I just jumped right in and just plunged in there.
And then it was like, oh, well, let me start moving to warm up. So I just took off once I jumped off the boat.
And their journey begins.
There was no real bad waves. It was just nice and smooth. And as I was looking back at Anita, I noticed that Alcatraz was getting further and further away. So it started just looking easier.
After half an hour, the group is separated by wide gaps. Fatigue begins to set in.
It was hard because my legs were cramping, I was getting tired, and I was really having a tough time. I kept telling myself I'm gonna finish the swim, and that's all I could tell myself was I'm gonna finish the swim.
When I realized I was out too far was when I started getting really scared, and I about gave up, but my determination and crying through it really helped me out.
Swimmers arrive at the beach, all of them warmly greeted by cheers and praise.
There's no words to express that feeling. I was just overwhelmed. I completed Alcatraz. I completed this swim.
Wow, I really did this. And then just to hear everyone cheering you on, like, good job, good job. And I started crying when Nancy hugged me. I was like, oh my God.
I did it.
You know, the joy and the inspiration. I am so inspired by each and every one of these people.
The last group of swimmers crosses the line.
As Anita and I came in together, it was great. You know, we touched hands and I just started crying. It was great to be able to do that with my daughter and, you know, for myself.
Couldn't believe I made it.
Just hours after the swim, everybody's headed back to their home in Washington, South Dakota, Alaska. The event is now a memory.
It's both an ending and a beginning. Because in a way now the work really starts, that everybody's going to go home and continue to revitalize their communities and their families.
We'll never forget this day, and we'll always continue to help our people.